Welcome to the fraternity. The organization is ancient. It's a guild of assassins. They have particular talents that go far beyond the ordinary, which leads us to Wesley. Wesley's father was one of us. So we know that if we need to replace one, we have to go through their bloodline.
Wanted is about a young guy who is kind of drifting through life. He's got no respect from anybody in his life. He accepts the world the way it is and the way he's told it is. And he is told that he is nothing.
He is plucked from that world, literally plucked in an instant, and told that not only is he not a loser, but to the contrary, he's the son of one of the greatest assassins who ever lived. And it is the belief of the fraternity that he possesses, both genetically and innately, the same skill set that his father, this great assassin, possessed.
If they have the bloodline, they can be made competent, but in his case, it took a little doing.
Shoot the wings off the flies.
I really think you have me mixed up with somebody else.
On three.
His father is murdered by another member of this organization who has gone rogue and who started to operate for himself and for his own gains. And this guy who's killed my father is the best. Nobody can go up against him. And that's the beginning of the movie.
Father died yesterday on the rooftop of the Metropolitan Building. The man who killed him is behind you.
It was very difficult to find a person who will play this hero of the movie, because we were trying to find a man who people will identify themselves in him, and he looks like everybody. And at the same time, he has something inside which tells us that he's different.
By very nature of the fact that they're casting someone like me in an action movie, I'm not used to seeing someone like myself in those roles. And as a movie lover, I complain frequently that I'm fed up of seeing 6'5" alpha male in these roles. So when the part comes my way, I really didn't have anywhere to hide, to take it.
So many people will be able to relate to him and actually feel like, well, if that was me, and I was working in my little cubicle and my life sucked and I didn't have excitement and I didn't have skills or I didn't know what I was worth, could this realistically be my fantasy of what could happen to my life? So James really represents the everyman, and I think that is very cool to see.
I think the casting's inspired. That's the thing that really excited me about it, because they were unusual choices. Like James in particular captures that everyman thing, but he's got that look of madness in his eyes as well, which is just perfect.
He has a very unique sense of humor, and he's very ironic, and he's very skeptical. And if he believes, then audience will believe it. Because it was very important for the story to create the arc of the character. He has to start as an ordinary, weak person and to finish as a Superman.
It's a big challenge, big change in the character. Quite a difficult change as well.
It's something to see him go from being like just the average, everyday guy to really becoming one of the greatest assassins ever. He's incredible.
James is a really gutsy actor, and to take it from the nebbish kind of office worker that he is at the start of this movie into the killing machine he is by the third act. You know, I don't know anyone else that could have pulled that off as well.
The part that James is playing is the kind of part that I always wanted when I was in my 20s. There's a wonderful trajectory for a young actor to start and be absolutely convincing as one thing, and then to metamorphose into something that's equally convincing but rather brilliant. I'm jealous.
I like these actors who just go from 0 to 100, you know. It's like he snaps like from one state to the other and effortless. And when you watch him, there's no wrong take.
It's not been the most demanding movie I've worked on, but it's been the most physically demanding.
I suppose starting at the top, I had to jump through a window that didn't exist. Then I had to put a gun through the eye socket of a dummy that looked very much like Mark Warren, and shoot through his head. Then I had to run with said dummy over a course of, I don't know, some 900 meters if you count every take, which looked ridiculous and felt ridiculous and was very awkward. Then I was dragged along the ground, very much cowboy attached to a runaway horse, and I was dragged a distance of 10 meters repeatedly, quickly. And then, while being dragged, launch my foot off a dead person and fly into the air. Then I had to jump off a trampoline 15 times to try and catch a lampshade. Until we realised that it was better if I just jumped off a box of wood. One take we did at the box of wood, and that's what's going to be in the film. I think that was better. I think that's everything.
I got to do that thing that male actors all kind of secretly go, God, it'd be great to do a job where you get to train and all that. Otherwise, fitness-wise, I would never find myself in a gym. I would rather eat dog poo than find myself in a gym.
It's all yours.
So we teach him to get used to pain and to learn how to be prepared.
There are two limiters to human performance.
One is lack of preparation, and the other is fear of pain.
So they kick 7 kernels of crap out of me every day.
All the stunt people keep saying he's stuntman quality when it comes to taking a punch and throwing himself onto the floor.
She is like my conditioner, my drill sergeant. And yeah, she kicks my ass. A lot. She kicks it and kicks it and kicks it again. And then when it's had 5 minutes to rest, she kicks it again.
There's one scene where I beat him up, yeah.
Why are you here?
I don't know why.
If anybody has any sort of fantasies about being beaten up by Angelina Jolie, watch this film and you will have them all satisfied.
What did you say?
Fox is like a master at what she does, and she's a great teacher, so she's schooling Wesley all the way through.
I had just done a very, very serious film and had a baby and wanted to get back in shape a bit and do something not so serious. And I'm used to action movies where it's relying on my physical ability. It's always fun to do this kind of jumping around, punching people things.
She's perfect for this. She's very grounded. She's very specific what her character has to do in every second, in every situation. She knows exactly how she wants to be in the movie.
That was the most interesting call, you know, because I had no idea she was being cast whatsoever. And that was amazing, you know, because there's probably no female star in the world right now bigger than she is. I have a feeling she's going to fall in love with me when she meets me. I think it's going to be quite hard for her to resist, you know, a Scotsman.
Crazy.
For the character of Fox, I think all of us had in our minds Angelina Jolie. I think there were few women actresses who have the physical strength and skill to believe that she can be one of the great assassins that exists in our world, and at the same time has the emotional strength, the no-nonsense attitude, the commitment that this particular character has to a particular code that's unwavering and is utter and complete.
The reason I liked my character is she believes in this code.
Kill one, save 1,000.
She's probably the fraternity's most stern advocate of the code of the fraternity. She follows it probably more strictly than anybody else because she has seen firsthand how it has affected her life and how it can screw the world up if you don't follow the code.
She was a regular person going to law school and lost her family and was brought into the group and is an assassin.
She's like my right hand. She is the training overseer. Wesley is the only one who can get to him. Get back to work.
The fraternity is run by an actor called Morgan Freeman. Ladies and gentlemen, Morgan Freeman. I'm sure they're going to show you some pictures now.
Morgan Freeman unfortunately is here to save all of us, because for all the things that are far too like cool action movie, he somehow explains them in the movie and you believe everything that comes out of that man's mouth.
For an action movie, it seems to have the most kind of A-list cast. You know, Freeman's one of those guys that just brings a bit of dignity to anything he does.
I found that he's very good because he's very grounded, and at the same time he's very noble, and this combination works perfect.
Sloan is another one of those with that peculiar ability, and he is a bit beyond the ordinary because he's like the chosen one. He's the leader.
Find a connection in this room. Maybe the only way of finding out who you are.
We needed a character who was both a father figure who had a paternal instinct, but could also articulate the mythology of the piece. So having him lead you through the world that is the fraternity felt like one of those perfect marriages of actor to role.
Sloan has, over many years, maintained this alpha position because his mental acuity is so well developed. He needs Wesley, so he becomes almost a father figure to explain to him why he has to go through what he has to go through in order to become who he must become.
It is your long-awaited destiny to join us.
The other main assassin figures are the butcher, the repairman, the gunsmith.
We have Common, the rap artist.
In Wanted, I play the gunsmith, who is really a master at weaponry, guns specifically. For the gunsmith, it's definitely an art form, you know. These guns are part of his expression.
You need to know what it's like to put a bullet in a body.
She might be somebody's mom!
Common is kind of the loveliest man I think I've ever met in my life. I may be going too far, but I might not.
Repairman, 5 minutes.
I am playing the repairman, who basically has the role of training Wesley into dealing with pain.
What do you repair?
A lifetime of bad habits. And he does that by inflicting lots of pain on him.
By distributing pain, he's getting you numb to it and taking away some of the pain that you already been through, you know, and getting that out your system.
I don't necessarily see this part as bad or good. He just has a job to do, and his job is just to train James in dealing with pain.
Some of the other cats on the team, as part of the fraternity, is the butcher.
You spend a lot of time with knives?
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
It was a rhetorical question.
I got here like 2 weeks before actual shooting. We didn't have much time to train. 2 weeks. They taught me how to fight, how to use the weapons. But most importantly, they taught me how to fight in here. You know, for some people, it looked terrifying, the scenes that I did with James. But coming out from my character, the butcher, I had a lot of fun, and maybe that's why they thought this scene was terrifying, but I had a lot of fun with him.
An exterminator, you know, even though he's carrying around rats and is very good with explosives, he also flushes out different things that you know, may need to get out of your body.
Hi. How are you doing? That the exterminator is a bit of an outsider in the fraternity. He looks quite harmless, but people are afraid of him. It is clear that he realizes that not everything is right.
They fucked you up, didn't they? What the hell did they do to you?
The guild works through Sloan, but Sloan gets his orders from the Loom of Fate. And that loom has a code in it.
Fate designates that someone should be killed in order for the world to carry on in its balanced way, and these guys are the guys who execute those orders.
This idea that if you could know who is going to kill someone tomorrow, if you knew who the Hitler was, if you can get to them and if you could assassinate them, would you save thousands of lives?
Our fraternity is there to really, more than anything, to create the balance in the world. We are people who have been blessed with certain gifts and talents, but we balance out the world with our talents by going out and doing the will of the loom of fate.
Sloan possesses an enormous energy, which forces people to obey.
Morgan Freeman, perfect. Sloan, for me, we believe him. It was a very difficult goal for this character because he's lying.
You want me to kill Robert Dean Darden?
Not me. Fate.
Sloan starts mixing up things and working for his own reasons, playing basically God. And Cross figures this all out, so he left the fraternity, and Sloan makes everybody hunt Cross now.
They train me to go after Cross, and that becomes the focal point for a large part of the film.
Playing Cross, he's supposed to be the best assassin ever lived. He's hunted, almost doing the whole film. He appears as the bad guy, and in the end, it turns out he was the good guy.
You're my son.
For Cross, in our case, it's pretty simple. He tries to keep his son from harm. That means getting his son out of their hands. It's a very new thing for me, a new experience. I never did action films, really. It's fun. It's all about appearing cool, being precise, being confident. It's just an interesting character. I always love to work as an actor with as less dialogue as possible. I think everything I can show without explaining. And so in this film, I don't talk at all. It's great. But it's also very stylish, and it's something I've never done.
You can have a different life, Wesley. Like your father wanted for you.
I was always interested in doing sort of a film version of comics, as it were. Well, you know, the thing is, I think he's kind of a bit of an enigma. You're introduced to him and he's one thing, and then the plot is very sort of convoluted, and when he resurfaces, he's a completely different character. He is responsible for manufacturing a very unusual cartridge. It's a kind of porcelain bullet, in fact, and he is very familiar with and has access to this magical loom that foretells people's destinies.
It makes you think like about fate, or what's your hand in fate and what it is about connecting with where you come from.
I believe that people are born with certain abilities and certain thoughts to be or do something, and are naturally kind of drawn to something. I suppose you could call that fate.
And in a way, I find it interesting because what Wesley is running away from in the world is, it's an action movie, but he's running away from something that I think we can all identify with, being told what to do.
It essentially is about finding yourself and really connecting with who you are. We're here to enlighten him about who he is so that he can reach his best potential and be great, be what he was created to be.
We've gone and gotten a fantastic group of actors who have tremendous skill and craft, and put them in what might otherwise be just a simple genre movie, and I think all with the idea of sort of bending the genre.
It was amazing the gravitas that suddenly had when it was Angelina James and Morgan Freeman delivering those lines. I feel as if you're seeing something pretty special.
All the artists that come from different places and different walks of life and different regions, it's a great experience, and it gave the piece of work a broadness.
Of course, it is very exciting to be a part of this team, to work with these kinds of actors and these producers.
I'm still like calling home like, man, I'm in a movie with Morgan Freeman, Angelina Jolie, James McAvoy.
Actually, it feels quite weighty and as if there's real characters and real issues being developed in amongst the most fantastic action set pieces.
James is very funny, so hopefully it's not the we take ourselves too seriously action movie. It's kind of, it's fun.